Well, we can't say we saw this one coming. In the latest Nintendo Direct, it was revealed that Link's newest game would be something completely different. Hyrule Warriors. And while that's only a tentative title, it's obvious that the game follows the same template as Dynasty Warriors, fitting since the same team at Tecmo Koei are the ones developing the game. So we can't help but turn on the old analysis machine to see what secrets we can find. Dynasty Warriors, for those of you who have never played, is a long-running series of beat-em-ups that takes place in ancient China. The catch is that all the characters are real historical figures and sees players taking on dozens of enemies at a time, with hundreds spread across the battlefield. The player takes control of one character and completes missions that involve beating down hundreds of enemy soldiers. It's a crazy game that takes its concept and just goes bananas with it. There are tons of gamers who love the series and just as many who think it just becomes a monotonous grind. It seems an odd fit for a series that favors puzzle solving and exploration, but combat is just as prevalent in The Legend of Zelda. It's just that in this case, it's been cranked up to ridiculous levels, and that's evident from the sheer amount of bokoblins appearing on screen. While the game is still in development and the designs might be changed, the bokoblins all resemble their appearance in Skyward Sword. That also holds true for the Lizalfos, though since there's only one, it may be considered a captain. Captains in Dynasty Warriors could almost be considered mid-bosses. They put up more of a fight than the standard fighter, but they're not too difficult. The same could be said of the Lizalfos. It tries to breathe fire against Link, but is handled by a quick combo. However, it doesn't seem like Hyrule Warriors will only contain recycled content. In the back of this screen, a larger bokoblin can be seen, but these never appeared in Skyward Sword. The bokoblins had different weapons, but were never larger. Only the moblins were ever big, and this enemy is too small to be that. So it looks like we may see some original enemy designs in the game. Finally, there's the Dodongo. Obviously a boss, it's different than in Dynasty Warriors since these games' bosses are all humans. It's difficult to say whether Link will have to defeat it using regular sword strikes, or perhaps be more technical by tossing bombs in the Dodongo's mouth while it's charging its attack. If it wasn't for all the enemies on the field, the best way to tell that this is indeed based on Dynasty Warriors is Link himself. When he's first introduced, he appears simply equipped. His design has been changed slightly, adding a blue scarf and a piece of shoulder armor. But the truly interesting part is his sword and shield. He's not wielding the Master Sword but a regular blade. Meanwhile, he's using a wooden shield and obviously not the Hylian shield. But this wooden one has secrets of its own. The shield is lined with blue stripes on one side, while it looks like the mark of the goddess Nehru is on the other. And since she's been traditionally depicted as blue, is it possible that Link swears himself to one of the goddesses? Would this change his moveset, or is it simply an aesthetic change? It's also worth noting that Link's health is once again represented by hearts, and that he can equip one item at a time, in this case, bombs. There is also 2 meters nearby. We're not sure what the one on the left indicates, but the one on the right fills up with every hit against an enemy. When it's full, Link will be able to unleash a powerful special attack. That doesn't mean he's limited to that though. Like the Dynasty Warriors characters, different combos will lead into different finishers. In this case, we see Link launching a light beam from his sword, a downward strike, and even his spin attack that now launches enemies upwards. And in the case of the light beam, Link doesn't even need to be at full health, as evidenced by the fact that he's missing 2 hearts. Items also seem to play a role, though we're not exactly sure how they work. We see Link throwing 6 bombs all at once when he uses them in the trailer, but does that mean he throws that many all the time? Or did the player just use the move a lot? A bigger question is whether Link has a limited number of bombs or not. That's an especially important question since we later see Link equipped with a red potion. If he did have unlimited uses, he would never fall, so we think that at least some items can only be used a few times. Link proves to be incredibly nimble in this game, whether it's with his flipping dodge or even a quick forward strike. It also seems that he's not limited to just a sword, shield, and a few items. He can equip completely different weapons like the fire rod. It doesn't seem to be limited by any kind of magic meter either, and looks absolutely devastating as an offensive weapon. Of course, the obvious problem is that Link is sacrificing his defense for all that power. It looks like each weapon comes with its own strengths and weaknesses. This seems to be later in the game as well, since Link has double the life and an increased special meter. The question is whether it'll be more like Zelda games where he has to find these upgrades, or more like Dynasty Warriors where characters level up their abilities. We're not exactly sure, but we do know that Link will definitely be upgraded as he battles. In the final scene, we can see that he is now equipped with the Master Sword and the Hylian Shield. He uses these to unleash a special attack that marks the surrounding enemies before performing a massive spin attack. Obviously, using this move depletes a section of a special meter, but we think that this is just a special for the Master Sword since it would seem odd for the Fire Rod to use the same kind of attack. Each weapon likely has its own special attack. The biggest mystery of the game is whether Nintendo will consider it canon or non-canon to the Zelda timeline. We can see it working either way, but maybe, just maybe, this game actually actually takes place in the time before A Link to the Past in the Fallen Hero timeline. According to that timeline, Link failed in Ocarina of Time and Ganondorf took control. That is until the Knights of Hyrule and the Seven Sages banded together to seal him away in the Sacred Realm. With the sheer scale of forces and the fact that Hylian soldiers can be seen fighting alongside Link, it's possible that this is that war. It's a stretch to be sure, but even if this is canon, that doesn't mean that it can't do different things in different modes. Dynasty Warriors is known for having a huge cast of characters available to use, each with their own style. Maybe Hyrule Warriors will allow the same thing, with characters taking control of Zelda, Sheik, Impa, Midna, the Sages, or even Fierce Deity Link. There could even be a mode where players take control of villains and fight through hordes of Hylian soldiers. The models are already there after all. Ganondorf, Demise, Vaati, Yuga, Girahim, and more could potentially make an appearance. It's crazy to be sure, but that's what Dynasty Warriors specializes in. And that blue scarf on Link could potentially hint at a multiplayer mode. Another player could control another Link, except this one has a red scarf. It's a simple way to differentiate the two. There are even hints at allies or even other playable characters in the trailer itself. In this scene we can see a soldier with a much more ornate design and a different kind of sword, and in this one we can clearly see a young blue-haired girl. It looks like even Zelda could be an ally on the battlefield. The screen is incredibly blurry, but the purple would undoubtedly belong to Zelda. But who are the other two? Are they sages, fellow soldiers, or something completely different? While fighting in missions in Dynasty Warriors, your characters as well as your allies are always chipping in with updates on the battle and what you need to do next. Will the same thing happen here? Will characters be given a voice? It's pretty safe to say that Link himself won't be talking, though we may have another trope of Dynasty Warriors. Many of the characters can ride horses for mounted combat. It's possible that Epona could make an appearance for Link to quickly cross the battlefield. Hyrule Warriors may also add something different to the Dynasty Warriors series. Throughout the trailer, we can see red crystals glowing in the background. We think they may be some kind of barrier or control point since we clearly see a blue crystal later on. Perhaps one of the missions is taking control of all the crystals. The Dynasty Warriors influence continues with the various level layouts seen in the trailer. While they're undoubtedly based on Zelda, they've been changed to fit Dynasty Warriors dynamics. Gates seem to be scattered throughout, which likely means that you have to defeat enemy captains in order to continue on. Items also appear in the battlefield, in this case hearts that will refill Link's health. Hyrule itself doesn't seem to be based on any one version, though it seems closest to either Ocarina of Time or Twilight Princess. Hyrule Castle matches those designs, but there are other buildings nearby. It doesn't look the same at all, but could the one on the right be the Temple of Time? There are even scenes that are seldom seen in Zelda games like the barracks. It also appears that you'll be visiting temples or dungeons in Hyrule Warriors. And that's pretty much all we could find in the debut trailer of Hyrule Warriors. Whatever it ends up like in the end, it's sure to be something completely different from the rest of the Zelda franchise. If you like this video, please be sure to like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at GameXplain. Thanks for watching and be sure to stay tuned for more on Zelda and other things gaming too.